refer to it as Data Experience Business Unit. You can reference the acquisition, but make sure that it's our current name is
Okay.
Yep.
DEBU.
Okay. Ready? Shannon, can you maybe walk us through the evolution of Amdocs' data experience, kind of going back to the Bridgewater acquisition and how that's evolved over the past couple of years?
Sure. I think that if you think about policy in and of itself has really evolved over the last probably 5 years. Since we were acquired by Amdocs, certainly, but even before then. So policy really started out in the network as a tool for traffic management. And so the first implementations were very focused on how you control network traffic. You know, if we go way back, we can talk about, controlling peer-to-peer traffic, which seems, silly to talk about now, but that was really the first use case for policy, fair usage in the network and how you managed. And over the years, as policies evolved, what's happened is operators have started to see policy as really a tool for service differentiation, a tool for data monetization. And so that evolution of policy has meant that operators are looking at, what types of use cases they can offer to their customers that can support new upsell opportunities. How can you leverage the subscriber information that you have about your customers, their behaviors, the usage and analytics, and put that together into something that makes a compelling offer for the customer and also differentiates the service provider in terms of what they're providing. So this evolution of policy has really moved from just being traffic management focused to really being more about service innovation. And so as part of Amdocs, we've been really able to drive our policy program forward to address some of those service innovation use cases and also to leverage the other components in the Amdocs portfolio like charging, which is obviously a critical element in terms of how you pull together data monetization.
Can you talk about the evolution of the HLR? And the difference between GSM networks and CDM networks in terms of the way they treated authentication, kind of over the past couple of years and now going forward with respect to 4G and LTE.
Sure. How you get subscribers on the network is a critical component for any operator, and I think that we've seen that evolution. We've seen the evolution in CDMA and GSM networks as they've moved from 2G, 3G, 4G, and where we're at today in terms of supporting 4G LTE. The evolution has really come to a point where we have a common subscriber management, the home subscriber server, which addresses the authentication and brings subscribers on the network, and really is a key component as they're rolling out LTE networks. And you're looking at new services like voice over LTE and how we're going to manage those VoLTE subscribers coming onto the network. And then obviously policy is a critical component there too in terms of providing the quality of service you need for a VoLTE service. So there's really been this evolution to 4G where it's like all technologies have kind of converged as we move to 4G in terms of supporting that subscriber experience.
Can you talk about Amdocs Data Experience market position relative to that authentication on the HLR boxes versus, and then as we move to the HSS platform?
I think that Amdocs has been, through the Bridgewater acquisition, has established itself as a leader in the network control domain overall. And I think that's really important. I mean, if you look back, Bridgewater was obviously a leader in AAA solutions. That has evolved inside of Amdocs to being a leader across this control domain space, which is really about subscriber management. It's about how you bring subscribers on the network, how you manage their experience once they're on the network, and how you monetize that experience. And that's really where we pull together the different elements of the portfolio to address the subscriber experience. And there's obviously links back to our CES portfolio and how we manage the customer experience overall. And I think that market leadership that we've established in the network control domain is really important as we move forward in this space because operators are looking for, or providers that understand, how you can actually bring subscribers on the network, manage their experience, and monetize it.
Okay. You talked about the Amdocs going down to the network control plane, and then there's another level with respect to enforcement and gateways. Where does Amdocs draw the line in terms of where your service begins and what you don't do?
Great question. So we do actually provide solutions down at the network level in the control domain, as you mentioned. But we have a big partner ecosystem around the data plane. And so when we talk about DPIs and gateways and how traffic flows in the mobile network, we're really looking at our partner ecosystem of vendors that actually complement what we do. So if you look at where that line's drawn, it's very much at the control domain. So we provide a lot of value in a vendor agnostic way in the control plane with the solutions like policy and our online charging solution, and then we integrate down into the network through a set of standards-based interfaces that enable us to work with really any vendor in the network. And then what we've announced recently with our ecosystem of vendors around our policy and charging control is really how we bring together some of those vendors to provide more value to the operator in terms of how you can innovate around certain types of use cases through integrating DPI and video optimization components with the policy and charging components.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
All right, so sit tight. We're going to do the use cases.
Okay.
Yep, do you mind?
No problem.